Morning everybody, Martin here. Another week, another guitar review, new guitar, to me anyway. Before I start, I should say my voice does sound a bit funny because I'm just recovering from a horrible glandy type infection. I've had a sore throat for about a week. Probably the first day today that I'll probably get through the day without having a big long sleep in the middle of it. I might fall asleep in the middle of this video, but you probably won't notice anyway. So what we have here is, to get straight on with it, turn that off, is a Fender 60s Reverse Headstock Strat. I got this on eBay, basically 300 quid. And again, got maybe lucky, but this looks in pretty much mint condition. Let me take you through the features. So, nice white colour, don't know which white that is. Single ply scratch plate, which some people whinge about, but I think it's right for the year. Usual 5-way switching. You notice that the slanty pickup here slants the wrong way, which to me it makes a lot more sense really. Normally the bridge pole piece on the top strings is closer to the bridge than it is on the bass strings, but really what you want to do is you don't want to make the thin strings sound thinner, right? You want to make them a little bit kind of faster sounding to balance the volume between the two sides of the, two sets of strings, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so this being a little bit close to the bridge on the bass side is going to make it a little bit sort of twangier and less sort of bass heavy, and having the pole piece a little bit further away from the bridge here is going to make those top strings sound a little bit richer. There's definitely going to be tangible benefits of having the bridge pickups set that way, which makes a lot of sense to me. So, obviously it's only the sort of Hendrix style ones that you get that bridge arrangement, so that should be fun to listen to. I'm not exactly sure what pickups these are. I think they might be Tex-Mex. The internet thinks they might be Tex-Mex. They're certainly Alnico pickups. We'll have a listen to those and see what they think. So, usual Fender logo-y type thing on there. The body's good. Presumably it is poly. It's pretty much covered plasticky thing. There are a few weird sort of little dimples I've found here and there. So, but overall the body looks really good. I really like a white Strat. We've got vintage tinted neck. You can see frets look fairly chunky-ish, and the pièce de résistance, large 70 style headstock with reverse. So basically the idea of the reverse is obviously it looks Hendrixian, plus it means that you can bend the lower strings a bit easier because there's a bit more string there to stretch, if you know what I mean. The top ones will probably be a little bit sort of tougher or stiffer to bend, so for what it's worth. And then you get nice vintage style tuners, which I quite like. The pokey down the holy ones, so they're lovely. And what does it say? Made in Mexico, Z7, which is 07, so that's 2007. So 10-year-old. Don't know where it's been all my life, because it is absolutely pristine. And yeah, so I forgot to mention the bridge. You get a nice kind of pressed steel, vintagey style bridge with 6 screw holes, which looks to be set. Just put it on out of tune there. I don't really like trems all that much. It just, recipe for disaster as far as I'm concerned. Didn't come with a whammy bar as well. That's the other thing that you never get with a second-hand guitar. I don't think I've ever got a second-hand guitar with a whammy bar included. It's just one of those things, isn't it? Oh, whammy bar, let's just take it out, put it somewhere that I'll never remember where it is when I come to sell it. Let's keep it in the bag. Oh yeah, the other thing is it came with a bag. I've had a few of these Fender gig bags. They're pretty decent. Where is it? Here it is. They always fall to bits there. Can you see? The zip catches and that thing wears through, so the bag looks as if it's seen about 100 million gigs. It's actually quite knackered. It's got this gold label on it. Nothing in the pockets whatsoever, no whammy bar. So the bag looks a lot worse than the guitar, which I suppose is the correct way round. So I haven't actually plugged this in. This is the first time I just picked it up a couple of days ago. In my stupor, I drove down to Teesside and picked it up. Had a lot of paracetamol that day. Oh, the Boss Katana. We'll talk about the Katana a little bit more. I just did its first gig the other day in a very loud little club place. I couldn't really hear anything, but I could tell that the Katana was loud enough for a manic drummer and a big bass rig and loads of crazy rapping dudes. Demos, well, it's fairly early in the morning, just like 11. My fingers are a little bit, my fingers and my brain, a little bit under-warmed up. I'll use a softer plectrum, I think. So I think it must have 9s on. It's quite light. This is the Katana, just as the usual, just on 25 watts, everything pointing upwards. Let's have a bit of fun. Right, so I was going to tune down to D, my finger didn't know where to go for that. Well, I don't know what you think. I think that sounds pretty stratty to me. Pretty stratty. So I was mostly on the bridge and neck, as you can tell. Let's try some. This is no, so neck in the middle, I should have said. Hang on. Oh, and it didn't need retuning after I fiddled with the bridge. Still don't like trems though. Yeah, that's nice, that's the bridge. So again, so let's talk about this. So I'm sure that has a bit more twang to it, the bass E. I'm sure that has a bit more twang to it than your normal Strat position. It would normally be so maybe a centimetre or so further into the bass. And then the top E. Again, you wouldn't really want that to be any thinner, would you? You know, you wouldn't want to move the pole piece a bit further towards the bridge. It just makes that thin even thinner. So I like it that way. Yeah, the headstock does look a bit weird because all you can see is this massive plank with nothing on it here. And it is a massive plank as well. You pick the guitar up with that bit. And obviously your hands always go naturally to the top to get the tuning pace. But that's minor point. I think it looked amazingly cool. So those two, basically the two little design points, the reverse headstock with the longer, I'm sure that's looser on there. And obviously in theory that means that the top E is shorter, so it's a little bit tighter to bend. It doesn't really seem to make any difference. I would, maybe if it was 10s it might feel slightly different. I probably would put 10s on it eventually. Elixir 10s is what I like to use. Whoa. Man tunes guitar. So yes, the Katana did a gig the other night, and the other guy had a Blues Junior, which has a sound, you know. Oh, wrong one. The Blues Junior has its own sound. He was playing quite a jazzy guitarist, so he was playing quite. It sounded quite muffly and quite reverby, which is quite interesting. Usually you'd go like with that sort of large amount of reverb, more that sort of surfy, twangy type of thing. So he was doing sort of, it's got muddy tone and then quite muddy reverb. So it was a sound. I don't know, it was anything particularly special. And just having a bit of a ding dong online, I was saying to people, I think I mentioned in my previous video, why would you buy a Blues Junior when you can have a Katana for half the price? It doesn't blow up or overheat and cost you loads of money in replacement valves until you realise that they made it for 230 volts, so when you plug it into a 240 volt supply, everything's a lot warmer than it should be, which means that the valves wear out. If that's the only thing that goes wrong with it, you're lucky. The valve seats can burn out. There's a resistor inside which is the wrong value, which needs to be changed, otherwise that overheats and causes problems. You know, all this stuff with the Blues Junior that nobody who likes them ever mentions that you should look out for. Whereas the Katana, it's actually designed by the Japanese who actually know what they're doing, rather than the Americans who just want to go home and drive the Chevys home and shoot squirrels and drink beer. You know, there's no way Hank down the Blues Junior factory is going to commit suicide because he put the wrong resistor in the amp, which is possible when it comes to Boss. Anyway, that was an aside, but yeah, to cut a long story short, I'm sure I could have come up with a muffled, very reverby tone on the Katana had I wished to match the Blues Junior. The Blues Junior is nothing special at all. So that's kind of the point. The Katana doesn't really have its own sound as such, although I just love it on the clean tone. I just love the clean tone. And then you can add your own bits and pieces on top, but we could try the crunch again. I'm not particularly, yeah, so even there it's quite loud. So if you want the crunch channel of that. So there's the booster. Okay, there we are. So that's the crunch with a bit of boost and. Supposed to be learning Sultans of Swing as well. Not badly. Learning that one. So anyway, so how could you say that? So I had an online conversation about. Sorry to be going on about the Katana, but it's an interesting thing because people who have got the Blues Juniors and 500 quid's worth of valve amps don't really want to think that 169 quid solid state amp is any good because it just means that they've got the wrong amp basically, or you know, forgiveness is okay because. It's only just come out, the Katana, but you don't want to be going, oh, the Katana sounds like shit, and the Blues Junior sounds awesome, because it basically doesn't. It has kind of one sound, it overheats from the factory, and you can't do all the other bits and pieces. It certainly doesn't have 100 odd effects built in, which I haven't even got into yet. And I did have a Blues Junior for a while, and I just changed the speaker, and changed the valves, and I was faffing around with it. It never sounded like that. No, I can make it. This is what it sounded like. What the Blues Junior sounded like, the one I had and the one that I was playing, the guy was playing the other night. Whoa, isn't that a good tone? So what you actually want your guitar to sound like is this. You also wanted to be able to do this. to you, Katana. Sorry, Blues Junior owners. Right, back to the Strat. So 20 minutes in, I haven't really talked about the Strat. I mean, this is the first time I've properly played it, but I can't really fault it. It feels like a Strat to play. It sounds very much like a Strat. Now, of course, there are different flavours of Strats. Probably more to do with the pickups than anything else. Do you want, vintagey sounding ones or hotter sounding ones? Personally, I tend to prefer a little bit of a hotter sounding pickup. I had one of the 70s, the proper 70s reissue, the Mexican ones. It looked lovely, at teeny tiny frets, and pickups that only a mouse could hear. And you can I think that was around about this era as well, and that you can kind of feel there's a slight ethos, but this is actually the one that you want, definitely. The 70s one I didn't like really at all. Very, very curvy fretboard. This is really, really nice, really stratty. Now, you've probably seen if you're looking at this kind of stuff, you've probably seen the video of Mick from, guitarist and the Pat Pedal show. He said he first went into Anderton's and saw one, and just did. And you can tell what he means, really. It's pretty lively. And it's really stratty when you're on the pickups. That's the very underrated middle pickup by itself position. Double delay, oh yes. Saying there. Yeah, so this is so when I was talking about my Fret King guitar review, that was like 300 quid, pristine, beautifully made, and that's from Korea. This is from the Mexican factory, and even though I have had some guitars from the Mexican factory, the Fender Mexican factory, which have been good but not sort of inspiring. You can tell this one is a cut above, and I don't know, because it's a 60s special run or something, whether they get the senior guys to make them rather than little Pedro who's just left school at 12, or what it is that they do to them, because it has slightly vintage accoutrements. It's obviously maybe they put a little bit more care and attention to making them, something I don't know what it is, but the Mexican specials are really special. And I would have no hesitation in recommending them. So this, with a sort of price bracket of a normally a Mexican Strat will go sort of something like $275 just for a standard one of any age really. For one that's a cut above that, this is the same. This is the same price really. Well, it is. So again, I think that's quite a bargain. The more sort of popular, I think, is the classic 50s and 60s. They're pretty good. I had one of those again. It was okay. This is better. Definitely, it's got a bit more personality as well. The only trouble with it is everyone expects you to play like Hendrix. So yeah, to those who would be interested, I'd say brilliant, good value, bit different. Just basically brush up on your Hendrix licks, because that's what people are. Anyone who knows anything about Strats will expect you to either be a fan. But you know, you wouldn't. Obviously, everyone needs to know how to play Hendrix stuff. It's just that maybe this has just been restrung by the seller. Thanks very much. They do seem like new strings, and they're not elections either, I don't think. So yeah, to sum up, we have the Fender 60s Special Reverse Headstock Strat with synchronized tremolo, beautiful white, Olympic white, whatever it is, white body, single ply white scratch plate, which I actually quite like, reversey bridge pickup-y thing, which makes a lot of sense in terms of tightening up the bass response on the thick strings and filling out the bass response on the thin strings. Pickups, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think they are. Apparently the internet thinks they're Tex-Mex pickups. They're apparently Alnico pickups, the usual 5-way selector switch. It's a vintage style thingy bridge here with Fender stamped bent steel saddles. Vintage tinted neck, medium kind of fretty things. They look quite cool. Everything feels nice up and down here. And the pièce de résistance, enormous 70s style reverse headstock with the gold Fender logo with synchronized tremolo. And yeah, so you can get these on eBay for 300 quid delivered. Money well spent, I should say, if you are looking for a Strat, or like a second Strat, something a bit different, or backup maybe. I'll gig this, no problem, yeah. Definitely. I think of something Stratty to play it out.